Fala, rapaziada, chutes na área. Galera, bora continuar aqui nossos vídeos da série aqui de Vampyr. Exatamente onde paramos aqui no episódio anterior.
We'll have a word in my office later, Jonathan.
Tá, é pra mim entrar no hospital. Tô no hospital por onde? Poxa, parou de correr por quê, moleque?
Rotten or crusty, each heart contains the seed of life. Drink at this river, dry it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
Alright, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Qualidade do sangue. A qualidade do sangue indica quanta experiência você receberá de um cidadão em particular. Quanto maior a qualidade do sangue, mais experiência você recebe. Ah, tá. Traga essa luz lânguida para as sombras. Convide-o para a dança da vida e da morte. A dança da vida e da morte. Cara, vamos levar esse bicho pra onde, velho? Vamos pro abraço. Abraçar, Clay Cox, tá. Espaço para abraçar, que ele considerar uma grande boa experiência, mas ter ciente de que haverá consequências. Aprender mais sobre cidadãos e coletar a vista deles aumenta o ganho de experiência. Começou bem.
Back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fight me. Fuck you! I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
O distrito sofrerá as consequências da sua ação.
To taste a life, to embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden, such a divine sin.
Tá, não vamos sugar mais ninguém agora não, galera. Vamos cumprir o objetivo. Esqueci como é que eu atiro. Faz uns dias que eu não jogo, eu esqueci o comando, vou falar a verdade pra vocês. Os enfermos. Vamos lá para o hospital.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I apologize, nurse. I needed some time to myself. This has been the longest and strangest night of my life.
You delivered poor Mr. Hampton from a terrible fate. The means to that end should be of little concern, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
Beleza, minha jovem. Muito obrigado.
I would like to ask a few questions first.
Como está o Sr. Hampton?
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in. How does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Ah, eu vou fazer o quê, né?
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Vai, bicha.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
Beleza.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Adeus. Thank you, Nurse Crane. Devido à gripe, esse hospital não está aceitando mais pacientes. Beleza. Fazendo limpo no trem do povo aqui, hein? Sacanagem. Vou encontrar o escritório, vamos ver se tem mais coisa para pegar aqui.
I thought last summer.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Bom, rapaz. Vamos negociar.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Tá, bicho, tem aqui a espingarda do Milton. É que eu tô quebradaço, né, galera? Componente comum de... Tá, por enquanto não vai não.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening.
How is the situation?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking...
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients.
But you're not defending yourself.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them enough.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital?
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess.
Since you're on the front line...
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting...
It sounds like things have...
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here.
You left an infected patient outside the...
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Faz investigações locais. Uma nova investigação de cidadão está disponível. Aperte Tab para abrir o menu de investigações locais. Tá, beleza. A vida em Londres já pesquisei tudo. Quero uma pista. Tá, beleza.
Goodbye, Milton.
Hoje a gente vai lá ver Milton. Ó, Milton.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Came here in the first place.
Nada mais para me pegar aqui?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival.
Does my arrival inconvenience?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd...
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But
I know we've never met before, but
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is all...
That is one point we could agree on. And
since your tenure in this hospital is longer than...
let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me.
Carelessness?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us...
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good...
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work.
Beleza, nova pista disponível. Eu provei minha capacidade como médico.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already...
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive.
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood...
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you.
It seems you have bad memories of...
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as...
We can at least agree on something.
Tá, beleza.
Thank you for your time.
Adeus.
We'll talk later.
Bora terminar de dar um rolê aqui, ver se tem mais alguma coisa pra pegar. Daí a gente ir lá pra sala, conversar com o outro.
Good evening,
aqui.
Doctor. I believe we're going...
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us.
Thank you.
I am Thoreau Strickland.
Please, could you tell me...
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion.
What made you...
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with...
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped...
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just...
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced...
Ó, esse aqui sobre o
What can you tell me?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea.
You seem quite optimistic.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test.
Questions remain about our capacity.
True.
Do you need help with...
Well, yes, maybe.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh, no, Dr. Reed. But if you went...
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may...
Ó, cara, vou fazer uma missãozinha nova, tá?
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover that...
So you believe it's just a question...
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is...
Beleza, vamos perguntas pessoais.
Tell me more about your willingness.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury...
What is it you really want? To save him?
Fair question. I want nothing but to say...
This personal involvement could also appear to be...
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man...
Do you think keeping his distance...
All I know is that I'm taking care of human...
Última história do Dr.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because...
But why would he hide such crucial...
Because he is a proud father. Ashamed of putting his children...
Tá, descobri mais coisa dele, voltar... Já não tem mais nada, já foi tudo.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. Tá, eu vim foi da onde? Eu vim foi dali, né? Esse jogo aqui não tem como, galera. Tem que rolar uns papos aí, porque senão...
What can I do for you?
Não, quero conversar com você mais. Essa enfermeira me dá medo. Tá, é louco.
I'm all right.
Good evening, madam. Can I...
It's my son who needs...
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer.
Em Londres,
What can you tell me?
Not much to say.
Are you really that rich?
Yes, thanks to my husband.
May I ask?
I'm a teacher by profession.
Ah, que show. Abusada.
What do you think of your reception here?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital.
Is there something in particular?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke.
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic.
She charged?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering...
Rapaz, tá, a bicha malandrinha, hein? Uma danadinha da enfermeira cobrou.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware...
De volta não? Então deixa pra mim então. Ah, não peguei nenhuma pista pra conseguir falar mais com ela.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Vamos ver se o filho dela tem alguma coisa.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
No.
Really? Why?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking...
Yes.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer.
Toda vez perguntando sobre a vida do cara.
How painful.
So painful I'd rather not talk.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient...
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not...
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't...
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I...
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her.
Ixi.
Pembroke Hospital...
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed.
How painful...
So pain...
I'll let you...
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Ah, beleza, não vai rolar nada aqui.
I never could keep anything from her.
Vou conversar com esse doidão aqui.
Good evening, sir.
I don't know if a third opinion is needed.
I see. Would you mind...
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is...
Tell me about you.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed.
I was more curious about what you were doing before.
I'm a carpenter. And a good...
Tell me about the doctors.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both...
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals.
Are you satisfied?
Well, it's clear...
I won't lie to you.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed?
In other circumstances, you would...
Ah, só abobrinha. Olha, tem aqui, ó.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you...
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
Ixi, deu ruim, hein?
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Ixi, caralho, hein, velho.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work and...
Perdeu a esposa. Tá, sobre a morte da sua esposa.
Tell me more about the death.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps.
What happened?
Quantos morreram?
I'm sorry for your loss. So many...
I would like to say that she didn't suffer.
How are your children?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Ellen didn't bring them with her that night.
Beleza. Tá, já foi tudo.
Goodbye for now.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ellen.
Dá uma bugada a tela quando... No hospital, tá. Meus filhos queridos, desculpa por escrever antes. Tá, não vou ler tudo não, hein, galera. Vocês pausem aí e dão uma lida. De novo esse maluco.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to...
Tá, nada de novo, então...
Goodbye.
Então, tchau. Não tem nada de novo, então farou. Cara, o hospital é grande pra caramba, hein, velho. Tá, aqui eu só dei a volta. Tá lotado, tá. Aqui é pra sair do hospital, não me interessa. Eu preciso ir pro segundo andar. Então deve ser alguma coisa pra cá, né? Vou terminar de abrir os corredores ali, galera. Vamos terminar de ver os corredores ali. Bater um papo com quem mais der pra conversar.
Good evening.
Unless you're here to fix my face.
I'm Dr. Reed.
You guessed right, Doctor.
Com a minha força.
How is your...
Oh, it's...
Can I ask you precisely why you're...
It's the pain, sir.
Dor, nenhum remédio
Can I do anything?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills.
Who is treating you?
It's nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me.
You don't seem what...
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry.
A situação desse cara aí tá feia, hein?
Where were you stationed, sir?
I really don't want to...
No offense. I was pushing too much.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir.
É, faz sentido, né? Faz sentido. Tá, beleza.
Goodbye for now.
Damn. The pain. It's here again.
Esse maluco aqui, consigo conversar.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sorry, I must have...
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps.
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need...
Ah, beleza. Você no esconderijo de William Bishop.
How did you end up in William...
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood.
You dared to enter this awful place alone.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for love.
Beleza.
Do you know Tom Watts? The bartender from...
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good up.
People are still in dis...
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left...
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing...
What is the general situation?
The situation has always been tough, with a...
Who leads the...
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Dooth Digby.
Has the gang been...
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long. Yeah.
Ah, beleza.
Goodbye, Mr. Ham.
Na verdade, eu
Hello again.
Perguntas pessoais, ah tá.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton?
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of...
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith, willing to...
Why don't you use your cross again?
That's a very strange question, Doctor.
Have you made...
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke?
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton?
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea...
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest.
Beleza, você já sabe de tudo, então. Aqui eu não consigo entrar. Então bora lá pro segundo andar agora, galera. Caralho, esse hospital eu não dou conta. Tem que abrir, tem que explorar, galera. Hospital grande do carambas. Beleza. Mais nada aqui, só vai sair do hospital, né? Tá, então não me interessa aqui não. Ver a outra aqui. Uma coisa que possa pegar. Nada, nada. Então bora lá pro segundo andar, lá pra minha sala. Caçar a sala logo. Senão não vamos chegar nunca. hospital é bem grande. Serra usada. Gente, tamo de luto, sexo masculino. Beleza, vocês pausam aí e leem. Tranquilo.
I cannot enter.
Posso entrar. Não tem mais nada, deve ser aqui.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Pessoal, bora finalizar esse episódio por aqui. E já que tá tendo muita exploração para não ficar enjoativo os vídeos. A gente continua no próximo. Falou, tchau, tchau.